Hello, today we'll be reviewing some of the techniques that we'll need to use while tackling the listening paper part A, and we'll be using the DSE paper from year 2022 as an example. At the beginning of the recording, they will always give you some time to familiarize yourself with the task. Remember, do not waste the time. Go through every single task and also try to identify as many tricky parts or task requirements as possible. Usually, tasks 1 and 2 are simpler. They will ask you to, for example, fill in a form or the details of a particular itinerary, just like what we have here in task 1, or label a map. So simpler tasks. Whereas for tasks 3 and 4, is usually more complicated and you'll be asked to write complete sentences. So for task 1, it's quite straightforward. There is an upcoming tour and you have to fill in some details. So while going through the form, I'll be underlining things like this. So months to remind myself, okay, so I have to know the spelling of the months. Frequency, so how often. Time, so you have to fill in the time. The question where most of you made mistake would be number 5, and I think it's honestly a very careless mistake. Address, 地址, so you will know that you have to spell names of street names. So here, the answer key will be looking for things like capital letters, which a lot of you didn't give and lose the mark. And then, like what I mentioned earlier, these years they tend to, I think the papers tend to ask candidates to identify, to understand graphs more. So a graph 圖像, graphs like maps or bar charts, things like that. 例如一啲好似數學嗰啲圖像啦，或者地圖啦， and you have to show that you understand how to read it. So here, the testing point will be the left and right, go straight, turn the corner, etc. So that will also be, a common skill that you have to use. Moving on to the next page. So most of you got the mark for question 79, so that's very good. You can see that I have underlined some of the key words that I will be looking for. You must have these words in order to get the score. Like here, store owner and talk for question 7. Or you may say talk by store owner is also fine. Mind that here you can see I do not need any a and the. So for example, if you say talk by the store owner, is also fine. However, here is not required. Why? Because we're just filling in a form, 填 form 啫嘛, you don't have to be so grammatical. The common mistake here is on question 9. Question 9, section. Many of you misspelled the word section. Remember we talked about this word before in class. Section with double S refers to time, whereas section with the CT refers to place. For example, when we are watching an exhibition, 朝早嗰個 section 呢就會有人嚟表演喎，就會有個講座喎。So the morning section is this one. We use the morning section. 如果你話 in the exhibition, 喺 D 行嗰度呢，你就可以睇到畫喺 E 行或者好似 in a 會展，喺嗰一區你就會睇到啲唔同嘅嘢啦。So you then will be using this section. Okay? In the art section, in the literature section, in the painting section, etc. Here, by the way, Instagram is the name of a platform. So again, I'll be looking for a capital I. Next here, for questions 11 to 13, here, for reasons, you have to explain why they picked the two methods to advertise the tour via social media and also by using posters. And that's why you can't just say that social media are popular. You have to say that they are the most popular way. So these words are also important in questions like this. One more thing, 記住 media 咧係眾數嚟嘅喎，係咪啊？ 媒體單數係咩呢？就係 medium. So after social media, we have to use are if you want to write a complete sentence. Social media are becoming more popular these days. Okay. Moving on to question 2. Again, you are filling in a form, something like a form. Quite well done. I can also see that most of you are familiar with the grammar criteria, so it's good. So just a few reminders. So like here, remember founded， 記住咧 ，found 已經係嗰個動詞嚟㗎啦，創辦咁解，唔同呢個 find 嘅喎 ，it's different words，okay? So found 創辦嘅 past tense 以前創辦 founded，okay? The factory was founded in 1928， 呢個係 past tense 嚟嘅。然後去到後邊呢 For questions like this, remember you have to make sure that your answers are grammatical. So here I'll be looking for things like 6 branches. So you must have the plural form to get the mark. And then next, he also for here, wages with the S. Skills are, this will also be grammar items the marker will be looking for. 21 proves to be a tricky one. In fact, Miss Chan also lost the mark. I thought that it's given here that we are talking about Hong Kong, but actually, according to the answer key, is not the case. So we cannot get the mark even if we say no young workers. It's not that young workers or die, right? It's not the case. It's just that in Hong Kong, we do not have enough young workers who wanted to do the job. So here, in that detail in Hong Kong is also important. I would suggest that in the exams, if you catch any of the keywords, you try to put as many of them in. Even if you add more words, they will your answers will not become wrong. Just make sure that they are grammatical. 所以咧都要 check 嗰啲有冇 S 啊，有冇 ED 啊，都 listening 都好重要嘅。One more thing here for overseas, many of you miss out the S. Remember, overseas is a word. There isn't a word， 冇一個字叫做 overseas 嘅，冇呢個字嘅，明唔明白？過咗海冇呢樣嘢㗎嘛，海外係 overseas customer, so this is the correct spelling. Okay. This one, no problem. Just remember 嗰個勳章。The word for 勳章 emblem 嗰個標誌. So here we learned a new word. This is the emblem. Moving on to task 3. Now question 27 was quite difficult for some of you. You have to understand that fever means having a high temperature. So as moving on to task 3, they will be testing you on synonyms, as you can see. 俾同義詞你啊。佢唔直接話俾你知個答案. The answers are not given to you explicitly, directly. You have to understand. And number 29, some of you lost mark because you didn't have the word S. What a shame. You spelled all the words correctly, but you didn't get the mark because of the S. So suppliers, more than one number. 30 is quite difficult, I would say. They mentioned a lot of things. 然後你要去決定呢，到底佢嗰個 tone 係乜嘢喎？咁呢個係 tone and attitude. By listening to what they say. Like here, 佢話I doubt if it is ginseng. 我唔覺得係人參咯, so ginseng is no. And they also mentioned something like, pearls are controversial, so pearls are also no. So the answer is the good old peanuts. Who would have guessed, right? Peanuts, everyone loves peanuts. However, it's prohibited because some people might be allergic to it. Allergic. Okay, 寫埋俾你先. Allergic. 咩叫 allergic 啊？敏感。Okay, 會有過敏現象。Allergic. Some people are allergic to peanuts. Some people are allergic to pollen. 花粉敏感 pollens. Okay. Here, moving on to the next page, I think some of you lost marks because of spelling. 但其實我覺得都做得幾好嘅，大部分同學仔咧串呢啲都串得啱啊 temperature, humidity 濕度 air pressure 氣壓咁樣都串到。一個難串嘅字會係 mold 發毛啦 mold, okay? And also you can see here, I try to, although they have not given us any word, Miss Chen tried to begin all my answers in the same way. 我見到第一個係 reason 啊嘛 avoid damage, so I use a verb. Then I'll be using verbs as well for the rest of the questions. 咁我會 consistent, 要統一一致啲，咁我就會 make sure 自己會啱咯。呢個啦串法啦 freshness is the noun form for fresh 好新鮮啊，維持個新鮮度同埋個味道 flavor。And the last one will be biodegradable and homely. Again, you can see that they gave you synonyms only. They say that the packaging is more environmentally friendly and they stopped using tin boxes because they're hard to recycle. They did not give you the word biodegradable at all. But then from their answer, you kind of guess 佢哋用紙唔用鐵盒嘞喎，就係因為環保啲，就要估嘞喎。好啦，去到最後啦 Task 4 I think is still quite well done. So what are the difficult questions? Question 41. So how did the people end up in Hong Kong? 記住啦，去到第3、第4個 task 咧，要睇 tense 嘞喎，佢哋呢度 did， 咁咧你個答案就一定要係 past tense 嘅。明唔明白咧？如果你個答案咧串得，你全部字都串啱，但係你用錯 tense， 個意思就會轉咗，咁就唔得噶啦。同樣地，你可以見到45 Question 45 became 呢個都係重要嘅 ，becomes 就唔得啦。點解咧 ？Because if you use present tense, it means the things are happening now, and that's not the case. 你英文入邊你改咗個 tense， 你就改咗個意思，咁就唔啱噶啦。So the answer for question 41 would be something like the representatives or the factory or the employer 嗰啲僱員 from Hong Kong came and recruited them. Okay. Next one, small amount 啦或者 low amount 啦都可以嘅。For question 45 is comfortable salary because he became manager. Here 46記住咧，你一定要揀到係 free flats for families. Okay. 去到49啦，49 50 45 and 50. So again, a few keywords are needed in order for you to get the mark. Like here, you have to say that they have to stand up for 12 hours. Here, Miss Chen didn't get the mark. I only said long. It's wrong. I have to say that they stood up and it's for 12 hours. So both parts are important. And number 50, you must mention in summer, not in winter, right? So very hot in summer. To play safe, I will also write down why. So there was no aircon. Okay. No problem for the remaining part. For 52, I think 52 is also difficult because again, they did not tell you the answer. You have to infer. 好似 reading 咁樣啦，你要估啊，記唔記得我哋講過 inferencing？ 你由佢個答案估去推斷去推測。So how did Albert feel? Because we know that he was the only person left in the factory and he became the security guard. So you may say that he felt lonely because the factory was empty apart from him. Or you may say he was sad because all his friends lost his job. Or you may also say that he was happy because he was able to keep the job. Okay, these were the only answers. 咁記住咯喎 for part A 記住係盡量寫，唔記得咗點串唔緊要，喺側邊 remember the blank parts here 冇人睇㗎，咁你就寫咩落去都得㗎啦，咁你唔係好肯定就 jot notes here. And then you try to also make use of the preparation time. Go through every part. Pay attention to tenses. Okay? Do